Good morning. We will begin our service with the ringing of the temple bell. At this time, please silence your cell phones and listen quietly as the surrounding of the kansho is the invitation to settle our hearts and minds as we prepare to receive the Dharma. Thank you. Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's Dharma family service, either in person or via Zoom. I am Mimi Bergstrom, and I will be serving as your MC. Both Reverend Blaine and Linda are off island today, so Betty Takioka will be conducting today's service as well as leading the singing. Margaret Masunaga will be the lay speaker. Assisting at the temple with technical support is the Zoom team of Alan Matsumoto, Joey Gussman, and Wendy Terada. Please rise and let us start the service with Vandana and Tisarana. Please chant both the Pali and English parts together with Betty. Those of you on Zoom, please be sure to mute your mics.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namandabs, 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 namandabs.
Please remain standing as I will now share an aspiration taking from the teaching of the Buddha. The mind of the Shinjin is pure and gentle, always patient and enduring, never arguing, never causing suffering to others, but always pondering the three treasures, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Thus, happiness spontaneously arises in our minds, and the light for enlightenment can be found everywhere. Namo Abhidabutsu.
Namo Amidabutsu. Namo Amidabutsu. Namo Amidabutsu. Namo.
Please be seated. It is now time for the offering of incense. We invite all Sangha members in attendance to please come up and offer incense if you wish. Starting with the front rows and moving towards the back, please use both incense burners. Let us observe a moment of silent meditation.
Namandabutsu. Namandabutsu. Namandabutsu.
Betty will now lead us in the chanting Gasho to Amida. Words can be found on the laminated sheet in the back of the pews and on your screen.
Namo Amida Butsu. I recite Amida's name with deep joy and gratitude. I gasho to Amida. Trees and grasses and flowers all grow in great compassion. This light shines throughout the world. I gasho to Amida. Flowers bloom and flowers fall. From the seeds sprout new flowers. This is the truth unchanging. I gasho to Amida. Springtime brings the happy birds. Their songs all praise Amida. I join them in Nembutsu. I gasho to Amida. When I call Amida's name, it's Amida calling me. Buddha's voice, my voice are one. I gasho to Amida. When I'm lonely, I recite Namo Amida Butsu. Then I feel great compassion. I gasho to Amida. Nembutsu in work and play. Every day with Amida. Every moment filled with light. I gasho to Amida. Remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. I will follow this teaching. I gasho to Amida. In the clear, bright morning sun, in the fading light of day, in the darkness of the night, I gasho to Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. I live in great compassion. This great power guides my life. I gasho to Amida. Namandabu. Namandabats, 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 nam.
Please rise for the singing of the Gatha, When We See the Golden Sun. Words can be found on page 173 in Praises of the Buddha Gatha book and on the screen. Again, page 173 in the Gatha book. You may be seated. We are fortunate today that in the absence of Reverend Blaine and Linda, our own Sangha member, Ms. Margaret Masunaga, will share a Dharma message with us.
Can we all put our hands together in Gasho? As we recite the Nembutsu, let us live each day with gratitude and compassion. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning, everybody. I'm honored to be the guest speaker this morning. Reverend Blaine, as you heard, could not be present, and I appreciate that he asked me to speak. I usually attend Sunday service via Zoom. There's been an increase in COVID cases, and I just received my booster vaccine on Wednesday at Kaiser. How many of you present have gotten your latest booster? I was amazed that I didn't have any effects. It was a Pfizer shot, not Moderna, which I'm used to, and it didn't hurt. And I thought it was important because I just found out one of my colleagues in Honolulu just got COVID traveling to the mainland. And my cousin's daughter also got COVID recently. And unfortunately, somebody I knew in Honolulu who was 70, working full-time, got COVID from at a function, and she had pre-existing conditions. So she got COVID, then she got pneumonia, and then her body shut down. So in this day and age, it still happens. So please protect yourself, especially if you go on the airplane. Make sure you wear an N95 mask all the time. And even when you go to the grocery store or in big crowds, please remember to always wear a mask. Also, how many of you have gotten your flu shots? Yay! I got my flu shot last month, and I told the nurse at Kaiser, you know, I don't like needles. And I didn't even feel the needle. It was amazing. That was the first time that's ever happened to me. I was so happy. Excuse me. So when I was preparing to speak today, I wanted to give examples relating to my view of gratitude and compassion. In July, I went to Paliaku Peace Garden in Middle KA Road, or near Middle KA Road, and I listened to a 33-year-old Tibetan Buddhist monk, Kalu Rigpang, and he's been recognized by the Dalai Lama. Retired Judge Ibarra was also in attendance at the event. And Kalu Rinpoche's Dharma talk was about compassion. He said, once you have compassion, it stays with you. It's an inner quality. You don't have to force it. Visualize it. And it's as simple as what we say, like this morning, about I go to the Buddha for guidance, I go to the Dharma for guidance, I go to the Sangha for guidance. These basic principles are the same for compassion. And Kalu Rinpoche also said, which I felt was very interesting, that you don't have to convert to Buddhism. There's no conflict. If you happen to be grew up practicing another religion, whether it was Judaism or being Jewish or Catholic or Muslim, especially if there was a cultural connection, it's okay. You can still learn about Buddhism. And when you have a calm mind, it's akin to having peace of mind brought about by a compassionate attitude. And he also said the red lotus flower symbolizes love and compassion. So learning about Tibetan Buddhism made me reflect about my own practices growing up and experience being a Buddhist. I grew up going to the Buddhist Church of Florence in Sacramento, and I was grateful for my mother, Lillian Kuroda, who would take my three sisters, my brother and I, to church every Sunday. And like in the back over here where there's that little wooden box, I would always look forward to bringing my coins and putting it in that little box and hearing the clinking noises. And there were several years that I actually received perfect attendance certificates from going to Sunday school. And I think I still have them somewhere in my attic. And I also remember getting a new dress to wear at Hanamatsuri. And I've been trying to clean up and declutter. So I actually found this dress that I wore when I was 11 years old back in 1968. And it was an orange, pink, and white dress with a bow. And I also remember every class we would have to perform something during the Hanamatsuri program. And then, of course, we also observed Obon in July. And we would also sell food. The elders would cook teriyaki, tempura. The women would make sushi. And then we would also have bingo games in the hall. It was legal, I guess. We would have games for the kids that you could win a live goldfish. And they also had a raffle. And my father was in charge of the PA system, just like Morris is in charge over here. And in 1979, I got married in that church in Florin, which is Sacramento area. So when I came to Konohonganji, I was happy and relieved that the Masunaga family belonged to Konohonganji. So it was very easy for me to start going to church when Colette, my daughter, was born in 1991. And I actually remembered bringing the little carrier and bringing her to church every Sunday. So when I was preparing for this talk, I asked Colette and Jonna what they liked about Dharma school. And Jonna, she's so cute. She calls me on FaceTime so I could see her. And I asked her one memory about Sunday school class. And she remembered very vividly how she learned how to make dried kaki. And Uncle Morris brought the kaki to church, and Auntie Maki showed her how to tie the string around the kaki and hang it on a stick to dry it. And she learned also how to massage the kaki so that the sugars would form on the outside of the kaki. And of course, Jonna liked eating the kaki the best. So when I asked Colette what was her memory of Dharma school, she said, learning about the altar, who Shinran Shoni and Renyo were, and the history of Jodo Shin Buddhism. She said her childhood is connected to Konohonganji, going to church every Sunday, and then during the week, she'd take the bus here, and Mrs. Shindo would have Japanese school. So she remembers going to Japanese school and playing with her friends, and during the year, or in February, participating in the Gotha Festival, and then when she got older, junior YBA. And she said these were all happy things. And as a parent, I was thrilled. Colette and Will got married here last year at Konohonganji in March. So I also was reading up, doing my homework about Buddhism, and I came across this book. I don't know if any of you have seen it. It's called Dharma Treasured by Reverend Tatsuo Muneto. And I was so impressed by the poems. They were written by Kono Honganji members, primarily women. And there was one that really touched me. And it was Miss Ume Hirano, who lived in Kona in the early 1900s. Her poem on parental love was her interpretation of Amida Buddha's true compassion. The source of gratitude is in the wisdom and compassion that is Amida Buddha. Our ability to be grateful is a manifestation of Amida's working in each of us. And I would like to close my talk today with part of Ume Hirano's poem that includes these words, and it's on page 40 if any of you have this book at home. Parental love, Oya Gokoro. In the hearts of parents as immense as this universe, nothing is more cherished than a child. Due to the devotion of parents, the child may become successful and be honored like a blossoming flower. And yet, if the grave matter of afterlife is neglected, the consequence will be an indescribably painful separation. And then later on, she goes on to say, if you truly love your child, teach him or her well about the teaching of Buddha. Attaining birth in the Buddha land of peace. That is the compassion of parents that forever remains. And then at the end of her poem, she goes, thinking about the joy of parents and children holding their hands again, in the Pure Land with flowers abundant. Let us say the Nembutsu in gratitude. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. This is so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you for your message, Margaret. Kira Nishihara Estrada will lead us in unison in the reading of the Children's Eightfold Path. Words can be found on the laminated sheet in the back of the pews and on your screen. Kira will read the leader sections and we will respond out loud with the answers.
Children's Eightfold Path. The Buddha teaches us that we may become pure and holy by following the rules he laid down for us. Let us repeat them and remember them at all times. First, right understanding. We should learn and try to understand the truth taught by Shinran Shonin. Second, right purpose. We should always try to do what is right. Third, right speech. We should be truthful and kind in all we say. Fourth, right conduct. We should try to behave ourselves at all times. Fifth, right livelihood. We should earn our living in a way which will not harm anyone. Sixth, right endeavor. We should constantly try to improve ourselves. Seventh, right thought. We should try to have good and pure thoughts because our words and actions arise from our thoughts. Eighth, right meditation. We should nothing of Amida Buddha and repeat his holy name. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Kira. Please rise as we will conclude this service with singing of the Gatha Nembutsu.
Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
You may be seated. This concludes today's service. Here are some announcements. Upcoming schedule of service and events and reminders. Next Sunday, October 15th, will be our annual Pet Appreciation Outdoor Service at 10 a.m. In-person guest speaker will be retired Reverend David Nakamoto from Honolulu. You may bring your well-behaved pets if they are leashed or in carriers. You may also bring pictures or urns of your beloved pets who have passed on. Regular Dharma family service will be held on Sunday, October 22nd at 10 a.m. Linda Nagai will conduct the service and share a Dharma message, as Reverend Blaine will be away on a much-needed vacation. There will be no service on Sunday, October 29th. Sunday, November 5th is Cub Scouts Pac 12 will sponsor the annual Veterans Appreciation Service at 10 a.m. Reminders: be sure to open, read, and click on the attachment and interesting as well as useful links that were included with Reverend Blaine's weekly update, which he emailed this past Wednesday. COVID is on the rise again, and it is flu season, so Reverend has included links regarding COVID booster shots, free test kits, and locations to get vaccines. The 2023 Temple membership update has been mailed out. It is also attached to Reverend Blaine's email. Please be sure to complete and return it as soon as possible. Mahalo. Free COVID test kits, which expire this month, October 21st, are still available in the conference room. Please help yourself. Are there any more announcements from anyone? A special mahalo to Morris and Allen for their help in setting up and taking down the altar arrangements in Reverend's absence. Those of you on Zoom, you may leave at any time. Those of you here in person, refreshments will be served in the conference room. Mahalo to Mirna Kunihiro and Molly Nakano and anyone else who brought goodies to share. Please remember to get your COVID booster as well as flu shots. Your attendance today is most sincerely appreciated. Please stay safe, and we hope to see you at future Sunday services. Thank you.